Hello, my name is Joshua Keith, and this is theburningcoal.com, a website dedicated to God's glory, His grace, and our response to it. Today we're going to be talking about being thankful for books of poetry. Last week we talked about being thankful for the law, and the law is very important for us to understand who God is, His nature, to learn more about Him. But the books of poetry are also powerful in their own right. And they're really important for us to focus on, to study, and again, to praise God for, to be thankful that He gave them to us. In Psalm 119, verse 103, it says, "How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth." I think that of all the sections in the Bible, the sections of poetry in the Old Testament, this applies to as much as any. And when we're talking about these books, we're specifically referring to Job, Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. And these books are very powerful. And I think one of the things that makes them so powerful is their poetic nature. It allows for the authors to really express their heart and to go beyond just what is the text and into what am I feeling? What is going on in my life and how am I responding to it? A lot of times these books are good for us because they help us for when the rubber meets the road in our own lives. We understand that we're supposed to obey God and we're supposed to rejoice without ceasing. We're supposed to weep with those who weep. But we may not know how to process those emotions, how to feel them ourselves. And so by going to the books of poetry, we see inspired examples of how people handled their feelings, their emotions, their trials, their tribulations, and we can learn lots of lessons from them. I think that one of the things we can really be thankful for is all the things that the poetry books teach us. So, for example, they teach us how to rejoice and how to mourn. The Psalms are not just about joy. They're not just about when things are good and the blessings of God, but they're also about when things are bad. When your heart is broken, when you've been betrayed by your own son. When you have enemies all around you and you don't know what to do. When you are tired, when you are exhausted, when you are broken down by your sin. What do you do with that? How do you express that? Thankfully, God has given us inspired men who had to express those exact same thoughts. And so we can learn from their example, both how to rejoice and how to praise our God, but also how to weep, how to mourn during the hard times, and how to turn to God and allow our faith to shine through, even through tears. On top of that, we learn about living with and without. You know, you take a look at the book of Job and Ecclesiastes, and they're really a contrast to each other. Job is about a man who loses absolutely everything. He was financially well off, but Satan uses death and destruction to hurt him and tempt him. And so Job has to wrestle with that. And so whenever we're struggling because we don't have what we were expecting to have, when life isn't going our way, we can learn from Job. But also there comes temptation and trials when we are given many blessings. And Ecclesiastes talks about a man who has it all and who understands that in the end, it's all about serving God and fearing Him. And so we can learn how to live with and without because of these books of poetry. And we can learn how to walk through wisdom, through all these different circumstances, through the different things that we encounter, being around different people, being around different temptations, different trials. How do we walk in wisdom? God gives us that in the book of Proverbs. We see that God has blessed us with such a rich and inviting set of books so that we can learn better how to praise and live for Him. I hope this lesson blesses you in your walk in His kingdom.